Hello, everyone. Welcome to the debut of a new show at GSC. Gay Soulcast is excited to welcome hosts Chad Hunter and Diesel Washington, who will be bringing you news in coming months about the world of LGBT films. Both Chad and Diesel have formal backgrounds in film study, and they both will be really great resources for all of our listeners. Well, I'm really excited about this. Our goal is to bring you information about films that you may have never seen before and may want to look up, as well as films that are new releases and are currently making the rounds of the film festivals around the country and around the world. The first film that they wanted to talk about for you is called Circuit. This is a film that was released in 2001. It was directed by Dirk Schaefer, written by Gregory Hinton. It won an award at the Coachella Valley Festival, and it was for Best Film. The category was Underground Alternative. It's set in LA and around LA in the world of gay circuit parties, and it delves deeply into that atmosphere. I know that Chad and Diesel, you had really mixed feelings about this film. Diesel, you like it a lot, and Chad's still kind of turning it around in his mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about it. What did you think about the movie, Chad?
Well, I took a bunch of notes while I was writing it.
Okay.
Just because if I don't, I'll forget. But I mean, I felt like I was watching a really bad porno from the 90s, only there was no sex. So I was a little disappointed, but I also felt like I was watching Birdemic again because that movie's also a really bad porno without the sex. And I don't know, it was just very 90s, and even though I was born in the 90s, I've like forgotten all of the 90s except for children's television, so it was really difficult to watch and be like, that's what things were like.
Well, I'll agree with you on one thing about the movie that is kind of hard to follow. The movie tends to be a little too long, and one thing in the movie that I noticed from an editing stat, it's kind of edited a little bit choppy. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of jump edits to this, to that, to keep the story going on. If they shortened the movie down a little bit and got rid of some of the excess pieces that didn't need to be in the story, I think
the story was so long.
It was a long movie, but
so
what
many
they
things
tried
happen.
to do is capture that essence of what a real circuit party is. What character did you identify with in the story?
I mean, by the end of it, like, none of them, because, like, I don't know, like, I've never really been about that life, and then I've gone to a couple circuit parties before, but they were all, like, nowhere near as bad.
Well, they were trying to do, like, a white party thing, so I guess going to any kind of white party would have been the same kind of scene or hanging out, just a bunch of people doing drugs, partying with their shirt off, and then doing.
I went to a white party once in Portland, and I was like, I don't even know what this thing is. So I was going around calling it the white privilege party because I was assuming it was going to be some really horrible racist event. But no, there were like 2 black people there, so that's Portland.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone was wearing white, and it was actually like a black light party, but they called it the white party because everyone wore white, and I was like, this is it. And no one did drugs. The only thing that happened was that somebody
did drugs at the circuit party. And that's not
I know
a circuit party of anybody getting fucked up at it.
I know, right? Like, the only thing that was happening was people were hitting on the token straight bartender and pointing out the fact that I had the same tank as some other guy.
Oh, wow.
It was the worst fashion moment of my life, but that's not the point.
True. But to go back to Circuit, let's point out the characters that was in Circuit. You have the characters by the name of, let me see, I'm trying to think of his name. Oh, you have the character John, who is a retired policeman, or he got retired from the force, so he was forcibly removed from the police office, and he's now trying to struggle with his own sexuality. He meets then Julian, who happens to be a escort.
Wait, I thought Hector was the escort.
Well, yes, Hector is the escort. Oh, and Julian. Okay, Julian is the boyfriend. Is the new boyfriend from Tad. Okay, I'm getting everything, all these things mixed up and mixed in together because Tad is the filmmaker. John is the cop. Hector was the hustler. Nina was the girl that was a friend of John. Bobby was the porn star or the exotic model / porn star. And then you had a surprise appearance from an actual real actor. I don't know if people remembered him from back in the days, but his name was William Catt. He was he's been in a couple of B movies, whatever, but I was surprised to see him in that role. What did you think about the movie? What did it tell a story to you?
Oh, to me? I mean, it was a lot of stuff that I'd already seen on TV because Bravo, or Bravo the network, I mean. I don't know, it was like, oh, this is why everyone's afraid of gay people back in Folsom Street Fair. Like that, like even when I was a teenager, I thought gay pride parades were like sex parties in the street, and then I found out, no, that's just Folsom, sometimes maybe. I don't even know.
God, yeah, that's in itself is another thing. The only circuit parties I really went to is I've been to a white party once, and then I've been to a black party. Well, I've been at the black party a couple of times, and it's just a bunch of drunk, high, fucked up people fornicating in the dark corners of the club and hanging around in slings with Crisco dripping out of their booty holes.
That's disgusting.
But that was happens at a circuit party. What do you expect? They got to get the fisting stations. You got these boys that need love. They need a wrist.
Portland definitely isn't that hardcore then, because I've never seen any of that in any of the clubs, and I thought Portland parties got pretty queer, but apparently not.
Not as that clear. You got to have your 5-6 slings set up. You got to have your Crisco and your boy butter there on standby. And then you have some eager guys ready to do some fisting fornicating.
I hope I saw that. I'm going to do it again.
You get it in there. I see that. Let me see the size of your wrist. You have big wrists or small wrists?
No, they're very small.
Oh, you do have small wrists. That's appeasing to a nice little fisting bottom that you can shove it into his nice gaping rosebud. Anyway, if we go back to the circuit party where all this drama and stuff goes on, I would tell people to go out there and support your indie filmmakers out there because, you know, they don't have the big budgets of the big movie companies. And I thought it was an interesting movie that gave a very not factual, but kind of like an actual, this is what's happening. And they told the story from so many different facets of everybody that was in that role. That was just, I mean, for me, it meant a lot of more things for me. To you, you just wanted to see if niggas was fucking in there or whatever was going on.
You know what? I didn't really know what I was getting into. I was like, oh, it's about circuit parties. And I was like, I don't know a whole lot about them because I'm a loser and nothing happens out here.
Oh, I love you. You're not a loser. I love you.
Thanks.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, I just don't have experience with any of that stuff, and I'd only been in LA once for like 4 days, so that doesn't count. I didn't go to any parties. So yeah, I didn't really know what to expect, and then like I knew it was it was originally filmed as like a documentary, but then they changed it to like a narrative film.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, and then it just got really ambitious, big thing, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, oh my God, well, that just happened.
Well, there were some things that I liked of the story that I guess came endearing to me because I identified with each of that character at like different points of my life. Not trying to make it all about me, but
No, you're fine. Don't worry.
Hello, we both do porn, so we could relate to the porn guy. I escort, so I kind of understand where he was going with the whole emphasis on youth. And it was kind of like a hard pill to swallow because you saw him, the Hector character, and he's all body, going to the gym and doing his hair, and he was looking all
He
hot and
got
sexy.
dumped, and then the first thing he did was go home and start working out in like his foyer, and I was like, oh wow, that's a nice wait, there's a
Yeah,
bench press machine right there.
but that's all the money he got from all his clients. But if you
Right,
notice
right.
that one part where he came in and he was winking to the client and he took his shirt off and the client looked at him and said, "Oh no, you're not what I ordered. You're way too old." And turned him around and go. You actually saw the shock on his face because he knew his time was coming. He didn't know exactly when it was going to be up, but everybody gets older, and when that reality hit him, I felt for him because I'm older than you, of course. I can be your daddy, but
I was actually gonna bring that up in a second. Not you, but like the concept.
yeah. But I'm
Because
just saying
like, I feel like people would be into that. He could market himself that way if he wanted to.
he could, but he was in competition with the newer, younger,
Right.
prettier one. And there was even a point there that he went to go see a friend of his, and I guess it was I'm not sure the I think it was the I'm not sure if it was the William Cat character or another character, but he was in the middle of getting rid of one of his like sugar boys and bringing in a new younger one. He actually threw out one of the guys that he already had in the house and said, "Oh, he was getting too old. He's like 26, 25 now. He's way too old for me," and got rid of him. And it just got you to see that, yeah, there are a lot of slithering sleazeballs out there like that who got money.
I mean, if they got money, then I'm like, oh hey. But if they're just gonna kick me out when I turn 26, then no, girl.
Well, 26, it's 25. The shelf life for twinks is 25.
Well, I'm 22,
And those three
so
years are going to come quick, old man.
yeah, this year went by too fast, and I'm still mad about it.
Well, say this is what happens. This is what happens. But I don't know. Keep it to go back to the movie on the one point again that I really loved of the movie is when they brung all the characters to the end of the movie, and then they had a bio of each one, well, what they were doing in their life from thus forward. But they got to watch the circuit party and got to watch themselves in the role. And I thought it was this fascinating thing of seeing how our gay culture is so emphasis on youth and looks and money, and seeing how this affected people that were all strung together in one big story, because everybody knew each other. I don't know. I thought it was a good movie for me because I was just going, wow, I never seen gay characters that were hookers, policemen. It was even a baby coming out story for the John character that was really weird too.
Yeah, it's weird now because like for me, it's just something that's kind of normal because I mean, I don't see it all the time, but you see it a bit more with mainstream television and movies. But then back then in like 2001, it wasn't really like a big thing. So
Oh well, hey,
I mean, a big thing in the sense that like you didn't see it on in film and stuff as much because that's what you just said, right?
yeah, you didn't. I mean, in
Yeah.
2001, I don't think even was a Queer Eye didn't even come out on TV yet. I don't think.
Yeah. It was a couple years later.
Yeah, so I mean, nobody had nothing to really look at, and films that were made for us, by us. That was the big difference. That's one of the reasons why I jumped on the train because I really
Hmm.
wanted to go check it out and see the flick. It's been a couple
Right.
of years, but I thought it was a very good movie. I always tell my friends, go check this movie out, man. It's a little long. The editing is a little bit choppy, but for the most part, when you go see the movie, you can take something from the movie.
Hmm.
Because the only one that died was the Hector character, and he died of the OD. The guy that had the HIV, they said he kept his viral load down, and it was almost undetectable. The Tad character, I think he moved on to doing something else, or he got a budget to do something else because he was trying to be a filmmaker. I'm not as sure exactly, and I don't want to give the spoiler to anybody away. Maybe I just did, but I don't want to give the spoiler to anybody
You
away
did.
of the story. Well, no, I
You
didn't.
did.
No, I didn't.
You already did.
No, I didn't.
I'm not telling them which one you gave away.
Exactly. Recap it. Bring it back.
I don't know. I thought Circuit was good because I think it's a good look at a large aspect of our culture, and I think that's necessary because you can have all those cutesy little white picket fence shows like The New Normal and Modern Family, where it's like, oh, we're the whatever modern gay couple, blah blah blah. But it's like, you know, there's also those people who are the party boys you're afraid of,
Oh, yeah.
and all the other stuff. Well, thanks for joining us this week. Tune in next week where I talk about Tom Ford and why the show Hannibal ruined my life.
Check us out next week. You'll see us doing more movie reviews. Chad's picking the next one. Check us out later on. Hope you guys like the show. We a little crazy here, but it's our first one.